And welcome back to the podcast. I'm your Archangel, Michael, giving you another shout out. Hello. I hope if you do please like. If you like to subscribe, please subscribe and share with the paranormal experience. And I have more talk for our belated Aaron Hernandez, Scorpion brother. So, the more I examine Aaron Hernandez, I realize the Satanic as that was put upon him. There was nothing really satanic about him, really. Wasn't he always wearing a rosary? With a cross with Jesus on it. So I know that that's something that means a lot to him. It's not something that he's just showboating like a lot of people do. And before I go into Mr. Hernandez and the mysterious murders we have with him and the mysterious suicide, shout out to mothers, especially to his, even though she won't see this because this is talking some serious stuff here. 420. So I was thinking it like this. He was born on 11/6/1989. 11/6 would be 9/11 backwards and upside down, which makes it satanic in itself, I think, in the number perspective, if you want to go there. And then 1989, 100 years later, AH. Then there's another AH from 1889, World War II. Now, let's get into his mom and dad. They're together, they love each other. Why are they always fighting? Is it just them, or is something else from the outside instigating all of that? And I'm going to have to go with the latter. Something else was instigating all of that. You can't throw it all on the family. You know how societies can be manipulated? It does happen. We're searching for patterns because you're looking for the the MK Ultra and Mr. Hernandez. I never watched the Netflix special on Hernandez. I'm not going to either because I just don't think that it's going to be as real about him as it's supposed to be. It's just a bunch of money thrown around. Money thrown around a lot for a reason. Especially if you're not making any money on it. How can you make it money? Anyways, it may be whatever. But at the end of the day, they show a guy on there. He's like, oh yeah, Aaron and I, we were gay lovers in school from 7 to 9. From 7th grade to 9th grade. 7 to 9, 7th to 9th grade? Yeah, really? Ugh. Who's making that shit happen? Handlers. Thought police. Who's making that happen? Them? Let's get real. If that's even even if that's even a real story coming out of his mouth on that Netflix special. And the reason why I say that is because we got to look at suicide number 4. Suicide note number 4, which is another gay lover. People like to throw the gay shit out there. It's kind of like when Howard Stern used to get ratings on. Remember when Howard Stern used to get ratings on that shit all the time. So I get it. I get why they keep going there. So, anyways, yeah. So he has a lot of good around him. He gets pushed through school. He does well in high school. Gets abused along the way, manipulated. Good heart guy, Mr. Aaron Hernandez. Yeah, Chico, right? Chico. So Chico, and God bless his family, right? His wife, his late girlfriend, and his girlfriend and his daughter. Girlfriend and daughter. So, bless them. And God bless the victims. And we could start with Odin Lloyd, right? That's a quirky case. 2013. We'll get to that, but again, we start off with the swamp. The swamp. Let's back up. Hernandez died from hernia surgery when he's 16. Then he leaves at 17. Goes to Florida, Sunshine State. That's what it is. I think it's cool. Look at it. When I was down there when I was 20 years old, I got a sun tattoo. It's my black hole sun. One day I'll get Maisie's ashes in there. My black hole sun. So he went down there, and however it happened, red light, just like in Boston, 2012, red light. Right? Red light. Red. So, stopping at a red light. Okay. I mean, got to admit that this guy, Mr. Aaron Hernandez, in my opinion, it's not even my opinion, it's a fact at this point that anyone that has any type of science community knowledge, non-biased, that's an orchestrated murder if he even pulled the trigger. And then he comes to the Patriots. And then there's a murder right before that? Like, come on. And then he goes on to the team. And there's 12 and 13. Alexander Bradley. When someone has that much control, they might as well have just treated him great. It's my opinion. Why put him through all that shit? And then blame it on him. And sell it out to the public that just believes what they read and hear right off the base. What else we got? So let's get into Alexander Bradley. That's an interesting one. So let's just start there. So Alexander Bradley, would call him Double A. Double A. But there are two ways. There's Alexander and then there's Aaron, right? Two ways. He's on the stand. He doesn't even know why he's calling him Double A. He's like, oh, because of the bodies, the murders, the two murders. Double A. So, there's a lot of programming going on around Aaron right before, all the way until the day he died. No questions asked. While good is trying to help him out, you got the other bad crew shoving bad people in his fucking way, manipulating his thoughts, humming him down, tweeting him, and all that. Texts, text messaging. So all that combined can be is most certainly a form of hypnosis when you manipulate his brain. So Alexander Bradley is from Connecticut too, goes all the way to Massachusetts, only sees him, depends on him, provides him guns, drives him around, in his ear all the time. And then what we got? Alexander Bradley's in prison or jail right now for shooting up a nightclub. It's not like the guy can't pull a trigger too. So I'm thinking to myself, 2012, who really pulled the trigger? Why am I believing this guy, Alexander Bradley, one-eye guy? Got one eye, got shot in the face. He shot you? Well, I see two trigger fingers right now. I see two trigger fingers. In 2012, there probably were two trigger fingers rather than one. Or maybe there was one and it was Alexander or not. Who knows? Probably both. And then they drive off and everything else happens with with the glass on the ground and everyone trying to figure out where they're at on the map. And then they tow the car away with the bodies inside. Like no care was put into anything at all, because all it was about was just setting him up. That's it. Because if you're really trying to solve it, I'm not saying people aren't trying to, because they are, but obviously there's a lot of manipulation too. Lots of manipulation in the Aaron Hernandez cases. So, then 1 year later, we haven't even talked about the MK Ultra involved in this, man. Which is primarily what it all is. Literally turning him into a AA battery, right? Or how about the fourth suicide note guy, the gay guy? You wanted to call him AAA, like a AAA battery. And I know that's probably not what they're thinking, but at the end of the day, this is what's going on. All right, so it's like 2013 rolls around. I mean, come on. Hummed out, given the vehicle, given the gun, given the people, given the idea, given the victim, all put out there. They get in the BMW. They drive out of Aaron Hernandez's house in 2013, and we can get into that date because it all correlates. And we all know this. For everyone that's been paying attention on numbers, that they only went about a mile away from his house. And while he's doing that, I'm living like, where was I living at that time? I don't know. I was in Rhode Island, but he's got Rhode Island plates. I don't know. It's weird. So anyways, I want to say weird. Weird's a good word. Weird. It's weird, huh? Isn't it strange how nature just flows out like this? And like, we can look into things, right? So we can detect what's going on. So 2013, they go in right behind the house. By the way, so you've got Wallace and Ortiz. Wallace and Ortiz. I'm gonna say it again. Let's keep it real here. The more I hear about it, the more stupid it gets. Really. Okay, so they get there, all programmed, ready to go. He's programmed, ready to go. Doesn't even know it. That's just insane to even think, but it's true. And then he gets this mysterious .45 Magnum in his hand. Allegedly, it's him doing it. Again. 1 year later, again. Right? And I don't want to hear about, he just turned into a serial killer. Past that theory. We're past that. We crumpled that. That was someone else's homework. I crumpled up into a ball and threw it like a fucking basketball shot. It's over there. Talking about MK Ultra and shit. About him not really, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, so 2013 comes around. They're in the BMW. They drive up to close to his house, which makes no sense. Think about this. You're gonna. I mean, yeah, there's psychopaths that were eating people, hiding in their basement and shit. That's all MK Ultra too. Let's just be real there. Like, who really does that? Who really does that? You mean like that Russian family? Did you ever read that? Let me read that one to you real quick. Did you ever hear about that Russian family that was running around in Russia? They were eating people in their own town. They got caught. It was a husband and wife doing that shit. Think about it. Is that normal? No. But you know what I mean? You read into that the best you can. And then you look at Jeffrey Dahmer and all that other bullshit. So but this guy isn't on that level. He's a whole other brain. They surround him with all these people. Hypnotize him with his phone. hypnotize them through the waves and the bad friends and the fucking bad drugs. PCP? Was he doing PCP his whole life? No. So, I mean, PCP, you don't give that and a gun and a victim to somebody all in one shot. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like a setup. You know what I mean? It's a setup. That's what that shit. It's just a setup. It's a fucked up setup from a lot of money. And then so here comes the testimony coming from these guys, just like it came from Alexander Bradley. That I'm supposed to believe. That here we go again. So here we go. So then we got Wallace. Depending on him, just the same. He and Carlos are in the vehicle with he and our late Odin Lloyd. Rest in peace, Odin Lloyd. Again, another no-brainer. Why is he going to murder a guy that, for one, is dating his girlfriend's sister, and two, the guy he's murdering, or allegedly murdering, I should say, execution style, plays on the same fucking field as him. It's like there's no rational explanation to this at all. Zero. Until you bring other rational minds into it that think on a fucked up level that no one wants to think about. Brainwashing that guy into this shit. On purpose. So now we've got Carlos Ortiz. He don't look very comfortable in his pictures when I saw him. And he's like, in his testimony at first, he's saying that, and again, I know he expressed this before, but let's just laugh at it, right? Let's laugh at the fact that Carlos Ortiz was like, hey, I stood in the vehicle. It was all of them that got out. Basically what he's saying, right? We could say it that way, right? Because that's basically what his first testimony was. Like, I stayed in, not me. I don't know. Just them. And they all get out. And then he changes it after down the road. He gets a whole new statement put out. Somehow that happens. He changed his mind. It was like, oh, you know what? Now I think of it. Wallace stayed in the vehicle. Who believes that? You? Not me. But you know what I mean? Like we gotta think about that. And then so the guy's already lying. He's already in trouble. You know? He's already in trouble. So he changes his testimony. They change the testimony. They pin everything on Aaron. Not suggesting that there was a whole bigger orchestra creating the scene to get that thing to happen, which is what that is. So that's pretty fucked up. So anyways, Wallace supplied the PCP. This guy's doing remember the Kennedy assassination? The Kennedy assassination, when it first came out, the public was only told at that time that Kennedy was just killed by a crazy gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, which I agree. We all know that. Anyone that's a no-brainer. But not to say that there was more to the plot would be kind of dumb, unless you don't want to think that far. So then we've got Jack Ruby, then we've got Jolly West, the whole shebang for one thing to happen, which had a whole correlation. So Kennedy assassination, look, that's a big mess that we're talking about now, where it's like, yeah, say a mafia guy, Jack Ruby went in there and shot the man that killed the president. Killed him. The one gunman we know of. There could have been more. You can always leave that out there. Why not? There's evidence to suggest there was. We don't know. So you can't say 100% there wasn't. But certainly Lee Harvey Oswald, who loved his Russian vacation, came back with Russian wife, with all that shit. So whatever. He went to the Russian fucking embassy and came back, fine. Then he does that job. Okay. So Doesn't sound like the CIA to me if he's going to Russian countries and blowing the fucking president's head off. That's my opinion, but that's just my rabbit hole theory. I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, so then going forward, we've got the gay Kennedy saying with the 4th suicide note saying that this guy, talking about hanging himself and AAA and the bodies and gay and all the pitch sale talk, Now him knowing whether that guy killed himself or not, it'd be interesting to see what he really thinks. Fuck what they wrote in that book. Be interesting. I don't know. Hey, what are you gonna do? Paranormal experience. Because also in the scheme of things, just please remember that when the NFL drafted him in, Joseph Hernandez, Chico, that obviously his mom was proud, obviously everyone's proud of him, he's doing good. But he was 17 years old. 17. 1-7. Damn. Turned him into a satanic sacrifice. Because we know who was born on 10/7. I'm born on 10/31 Halloween, but someone else is born on 10/7. And that is Vladimir Putin. So, there it is. So, satanic ritual, taking a young guy like that, a native of his land, and sacrificing him like a lamb. To me, that's not impressive. You don't grow anything like that. So, I think the NFL deserves more respect than that. Instead of false shit and heavy manipulation. So again, if you're going to raise him like that, then that's what you got. But if you wanted to raise him a different way and still get the same tight end, you know what? Still would have got the same guy. Because it's the same dude, you know what I mean? Well, man. And then with that, you got to remember that he has a daughter and a girlfriend that he loves very much, even in the afterlife, of course. That, they don't want to be manipulated into spending their money wrong. And then reported saying, hey, they're just spending their money wrong. So, more care for society is always a good thing, but I don't know. The quarter is now facing the same as the penny. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like the stars have aligned. But and you notice those details, right? Those are details. Devil's in the details. Isn't that cool? Equal. Even though one's 25 and one's 1. So, we've got change here. Excuse me. Pardon me, please. So, sorry I'm getting a little slow. The weed, the marijuana is definitely kicking in. And it's a one-man show. Hey guys, what you doing? Mr. Hernandez. I swear, when I watched him play, I fucking love watching him play. I was like, man, love it. In fact, whenever I found, when I used to play way back in the day, when I used to play NFL, when I used to play video games, I used to play NFL Madden. I was always the Patriots. I didn't want to be anybody else. That's the only team I want to play. The B. Home team. Why would I want to be anybody else? I bet you he was thinking the same thing when he got drafted. Like, hell yeah. Right? Come on. When he got drafted the Patriots, you don't think that fucking sparked? He was like, poof. That's what I'm talking about. Got drafted late, but look what happened. Got in there. So, but as he's trying to live the dream life, someone else is trying to turn his dreams into nightmares, and it becomes nightmares for everybody else, and that's pretty fucked up. You know, and it goes in society just like that. We haven't even gone into the fact of when Mr. Kraft went over to Russia and came back with a ring missing. Like, a ring missing? A-R-M? Ram? You know? Again, you know, it just goes on. So, we'll get into deeper subjects once we're all set with Mr. Aaron Hernandez. Because he deserves this. He deserves some kind of somebody's, at least one, somebody say, hey, can somebody say something about Aaron Hernandez in his defense? Because holy shit, they just watch all these movies, they're in a rush, they don't care. They'll blame everybody, no one gives a shit. They're like, hey. You know, I mean, it's like, come on, dude. You know, I don't know. I love Aaron Hernandez, man. Rest in peace, Aaron Hernandez. So there's 4 suicide notes. First there was 3. Then they said there was the 4. Right? Excuse me. Choking. Couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. So, with that, you know, it's like, with that, just got to pay closer attention. Because I would love to believe all those books written, except for his lawyers. Obviously, his lawyers is going to be appropriate, but all the opposites, in my opinion. Like I was telling you in that book, Chaos, when they say allegedly, well, it's not allegedly. So they say maybe, you know, some agencies helped create, say, Charles Manson. So, and then there's all that weird shit, you know. And then how about this? So, you know, where you said black sites forcing people to fight. I mean, you know, that's what it says in the book anyway. So, anyways, that's what he is in the field without his knowledge, and that should have never happened. That's what I think. That's bullshit. You got power like that to put him in all kinds of situations, you might as well just turn it into a good, glorious fucking road. Might as well just done that. Why not? So, you know, it becomes like for example, like my Uncle Steve. I love my Uncle Steve very much, and like and when I first started this podcast, he did videos with me, and you know, we're honest about everything we've talked about, and even he says, you know, Michael, out of enough chaos, sanity always prevails, and that's true. So Aaron Hernandez is like, look, yeah, they're saying that he was a lone gunman like Lee Harvey Oswald, but that's not the case at all. 0. So That's a shame. Between, yeah, right in the swamp, like his father punched somebody, and he punched somebody, and it's behavior, right? You know, people getting that behavior out. So him being what they say he is, in my opinion, is just a big fucking scam. So at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's a scam. It's a scam. They scammed him to scam everybody else. That's it. So, into the 4 suicide notes, I've only read the first one. In my opinion, reading in it seems to me that he's letting her know, like, hey, listen, you know, not alone in this room here. This is what I gotta say. Basically. In other words, it wasn't a suicide. Sad to say. You know, I mean, why would you? He had a great phone calls. He's reaching out to Jay-Z and everybody. You know, he wants to see his daughter and his girl. You know, what else do you want to do? Basically, he's like, they're calling me 316, right? Hey. So, you know, yeah, doesn't make any sense. The murders or the suicide. Sam, suicide and murders. You've seen the rest of my videos where if you pay attention to all the sequences of the numbers, then you already catch the picture. When you're honest with it. So that's what it is. Mr. Hernandez was robbed of his mind, literally. So you can go there because that's absolutely true. Yeah. In some scenarios, yeah. So it's all good. So where we are, you know, like I said, did I ever meet him personally, shake his hand or anything? No, never met. Our only connections were, at the end of the day, to break some down, is that when I was working at one company, he's a football player at the same time. I seen him in a game when he played the Colorado Broncos. When they came up here with Peyton Manning, that was good. They won. We seen my ex-wife and I and my uncle Steve. We went to see them practice a few times. He was there. You know, Edelman missed a catch in front of us, right in front of us, and was so pissed off at himself. But you can see that type of attention that he put to those details like that ended up to the kind of catch that he made in a Super Bowl that Welker never made when he went to Broncos. But anyways, what we got here is that with Hernandez, we've got, well, yeah, plus where I wasn't living that originally. I wasn't living that far from him, like half hour, you know. And everywhere I went at the time, you know, especially at that time. What am I, 43 now? So, what was I, my 30s? But, you know, younger face. Everyone, including at the time when he was in trial, when I was working when I worked at the first store, we were supplying furniture to his second house. And then after that, you know, we what else we got? What else we got on Hernandez? Oh yeah, everyone would tell me I look like Hernandez. So you look like Hernandez. Hey, no shit. Yeah, thanks. Love that guy. I don't know. He was doing all that. No one knew that we were all everyone's being brainwashed out here, losing rings and their minds. So it is what it is, you know. It's really sad because he did reach out. Nobody helped him. No. Even when he was in the prison, unfortunately, you'd have to admit, you know, like where was the mental health checkups when he was in there or anywhere? So it's like I don't know. It's just a sad situation. It could have turned out to where he would have been the one going down to the Buccaneers with Brady and Gronk. So sad. And one more thing, I gotta say, look, like I didn't live his life, right? My parents were good to me, but his upbringing. I'll tell you this. His upbringing, his mother and father most certainly loved him, right? Well, when everything's being chaotic around them all the time, then what can you do? You know, how is it that he's dead and she's getting in trouble with gambling and all this stupid shit? You know what I mean? Like, that's not taking care of a neighbor. That's setting up a family. So, a lot more to that. Always is. And that's what it is. So, you know, God bless him, God bless his family, and everything attached to it. You know? You don't want to program a football player like a couple of kids on 420 1999 shooting up a school. You don't want that. It's bad. Nobody wants that. Okay. MK Ultra. Okay. Okay. That's a joke. So, what else can I say about him? Was there more about the suicide note? The first one, just that. Well, yeah, it wasn't like. Yeah, it doesn't appear, in my opinion, it didn't appear to me, not because I want to see it that way. It just is. Just is. Okay, reading the notes, like, okay, yeah, listen. He's writing it down, but it doesn't seem like he's writing it down because he's down for it. This is what it is. They've been telling me for some time now. Here it goes. Second one, third one, fourth one. So that's what I see. So and again, it's not a put down, but it's like, you know, growing up, you're hoping and thinking that New England, which primarily it is, it's a safe place to live in, but when all that goes on from the other side of the globe to here and affects us like that, to me, it's just like I just don't understand it. just saying it. But that's what that is. And then what else do we have? Well, he never. That's the other thing too about the marijuana he was smoking, right? I mean, let's be real. Like I know for sure. Just being, it's legit that that the street marijuana coming out of Connecticut and all that. It's nothing safe, right? There's always things in it. You know, is all pot laced? No. But they were already feeding him everything they could. So, and then plus there's a lot of lace weed out there. And I know I've come across it. I know it. Looked back on it, thought about it. I was like, oh shit, yeah, it's true. Like some marijuanas was like, yeah, I remember being that high, and that's not a marijuana high. I don't know what the fuck that was, but I don't need that shit in my life. So, you know, that definitely happens. So that's why for me it's I'm always going to the marijuana store, which is what he always wanted to do. Poor guy. You know? Yeah, marijuana store. So, you know, pretty soon I'll be all set with the Aaron Hernandez. We'll move on to another subject. I think we're going to move on to Anthony Bourdain. That's important because Anthony Bourdain's from Massachusetts, and you know, I'd like to know. That'd be nice. So Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace for him too. Coming up after Anthony, so it will be just, you know, up front. It'll be Anthony Bourdain after Anthony. I'm sorry, Anthony Bourdain after Aaron Hernandez. Double A's. Double A. Aaron, Anthony, and then if you want to get a little technical with name signatures, in my full name, Michael John Sylvia Jr., I have an A in Michael and an A in Sylvia, so double A. But I'm not a battery. I don't like battery. So, you know, we're all people here. So he was number 81 when he passed away. 81. Well, I'll tell you what. Just to close it out on a good note, let's just keep it real, right? Like, wasn't he fantastic on the field? Wasn't he fantastic on the field? He just was. Look, you got so this is the Gillette Stadium, and it's framed. You know, framed. And then there's the football. I don't have his signature on it. He was there, but you know, it's fine. It's whatever. You know, it's fine. We have a combination. I'll tell you what. We most certainly have a connection now. Because, like I said, like when I was, and I forget what year it was, the year that he was going to trial. I was in Boston. I was in Aaron's, an account manager, and I'm dressed up in my shirt, my button up shirt, and my tie, and my dressed up pants and everything, and I'm dressed up sharp. Had a tie on. I'm pretty sure I might have even had a tie. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. But look on the TV, there he is, and everyone looked at him. And we had the same haircut, you know, I'm younger looking. So they looked at him, they looked at me, and everyone's calling me Aaron Hernandez and shit. So I thought it was funny. I love him. You know, just gotta say it. You know what he is to me? One more like horoscope thing, right? Is that I'm born on Halloween. He's born on November 6th. 666. 6 days after me. Scorpion brothers. I'm just saying that he's my brother from another mother, and I respect. And you know something? I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what he would want to know is here's what he would want his mother to know. Be like, look, She did the best she fucking could. She was a great mom to him. There was just a lot of shit going on that nobody understood, and that's it. It's not her fault. She was a good mom to him. She loves her son. Even when people want to rip her mind apart and think that he's just nothing more than a piece of shit. And he ain't. And to get into his mind and rip his mind apart thinking she's a piece of shit and she ain't. It's all manipulation. They come together, mother and son. Sam. As it's supposed to be. So, even if he got the medication, the Ritalin, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot going on back then, right? She did the best she could. You know why she was always keeping the house together and doing all that gambling and shit to put the money on the... Want to take care of him and his brother. That's why. That's not a bad mom. That's a fucking good mother. It's a damn good mom. That's a damn good mom. She did she's like, I'm doing everything I can to raise my sons. I don't even have to know her to understand that. I see everything I've read and all. It's awesome. I mean, it's not, on the negative part it sucks, but on the positive, holy shit. Love can be measured. It's like dark matter and dark energy. You know what's there. In the soul. The love in the soul. You know that both those things exist. But it's like dark energy and dark matter, right? Where in the universe, right? There's dark energy that's, keeping all the galaxies together. We don't know how, we just know it's there. And then you got dark. That's the dark matter. And the dark energy is what's spreading out the universe and accelerating it. You know it's happening, I don't know why. Just like love in the soul. You know it's there. You can see it. There's just people that just don't want to. Yeah, well, I've seen this in this history book, this science book, yeah. All right, well, that's your experience. For me, when I'm thinking 420, happy 420 to mothers. My mother smokes marijuana. She needs to. Her feet hurt. She went through cancer. So happy 420 to moms. And had nothing to do with anything else. Just moms. And Hernandez's mom. Happy 420, ma'am. For delivering to this world a fine man who did everything he could to make himself and you and everyone else around him happy and got manipulated along the way. My opinion. That's a heavenly man. He's like, well, still sticking around a little bit, making sure my family is fine. Hocus pocus kind of thing, So, one more hit. Then I'm gonna shut this thing down. Happy 420. Evolution. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless everyone. May the world be a better place. And thank you for tuning in, and thank you for understanding my perspective of the paranormal world that we actually live in, within the normal world. In New England, in Boston. All right. I love you very much. Have a wonderful day, and see you next time. Have a great day.